Hi, Mickey Mankis here, and welcome to Out the Back Door. It's hunting season. We've got grouse. I'm going to clean these up and I'm going to start canning them. So come along and join me. I'm going to show you how I clean a grouse. And Mr. Mankis has already field dressed this. We do this as soon as we shoot a grouse. We get all the innards and everything out to give the bird a chance to start cooling down naturally while we're hunting. He'll go one direction, I'll go another, so that we can try to cover more ground while we're hunting. So anyway, first thing I'm going to do is I need to remove the head. And I'm just going to get some of the feathers pulled out of the area there so I can see it. And I'm going to try to cut it as low down to the back of the neck as possible. All right. And then I'm going to tear off the breast feathers. Okay, it looks like he may have hit that one in the breast, kind of bruised there. So what I'll do is when I'm cleaning these and rinsing them off in the sink, washing them up, I do use a pair of tweezers, and I will look for areas like this that are damaged. There could be BBs in there, and I need to remove all of those. So, all right, for the most part, we have the feathers off of the breast. Next thing I'm going to do is remove the wings. And I just kind of peel the feathers back a little bit so I can find that joint right here, and I'm going to clip them. I am using poultry shears, and you have to watch because the bones are really sharp. All right. Get the other side here. Careful not to cut into the breast. All right. Normally, Mr. Mankis and I double team this, and it goes really quick. All right. I'm going to start peeling all of the feathers down off the back. And like many times, it comes off the legs also, which is a good thing. Okay, about the legs now. The legs work like a human. This is kind of like the thigh area, and this would be the bottom portion of our leg. Here's their knee. I am going to cut right below the knee section. I don't want this part because there's so many tendons, ligaments, things in there like that. Even when it's cooked, you can't really eat this area. You end up with a mouth of like toothpicks, mouthful of toothpicks. So I am going to cut right below the knee. And I'll do the same on the other side here. All right. And now I pull the feathers off of the bottom of the bird, like the tail end, just above the tail. This one's got a lot of skin, doesn't want to come off right away. This is a nice sized bird. Now to remove the tail. On the inside here of the legs, I am going to cut diagonally up this way and then this way. Careful not to snip your fingers. Okay. All right. So that's that V cut that I just made up there. And you're going to continue getting off as many feathers as possible, and then the next step, we're going to take it to the sink and I'll be washing it clean. I'm going to show you quick how I generally clean these out once I get into the kitchen and stuff. I still have some feathers. I've got both of my sinks filled with cold water, and you can clean these whole like this. I'm going to roast these when I'm all done cleaning them. before I can them, but I find it easier if I just break them in half. So the tools that I've got over here that I work with all the time, I still have my shears, and I've got a toothbrush that's dedicated for cleaning game, and I got my tweezers in case I've got to start plucking feathers or I see some shot or something in the meat. But generally, when I put these in the crock pot for supper, I'll split them anyway. Mr. Mankus likes to eat the legs. That's fine. I just eat generally probably half a breast. So it's just easier for me to do it this way. All right, I'm going to get down in here and look. There's some bones and stuff that I can peel out of here as long as I'm separating it. And then I'm just going to get in there and kind of scrub it out a little bit. I guess toothbrush for me just works the easiest. Okay. Get all the feathers off. There's still little itty bitties on there. I mean, it's not going to hurt anyone, but I'm Inspector 57 at the end here. If something is still left in the meat when a person's eating it that shouldn't be in there, I'm the responsible one. And when I do roast them, there's been times that there's been shot that's been embedded in the meat so far in that I haven't seen it while I was cleaning. I roast it and then I actually peel off the meat off the bones like I would if I'm doing a turkey. And I've missed it, so after I can it and use it in my meal, unfortunately, there's been a time or two that, as far as using grouse, we've bitten on shot. Not comfortable. Okay, so then I'm just gonna, once it's cleaned, set it in the cold water there. Now with the legs, I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna scrape all that out. Now see, there is actually, I don't know if you can see or not, feather embedded right here. And it probably won't, it looked like it kind of hit in the backbone. But if there's a feather in there, that means a shot, a pellet had gone in. It's in the bones, so I'm not going to get real concerned about it because like I mentioned, I peel the meat off after I roast them before I can them. I don't can them with bone. You know, you can buy canned chicken. I don't know if they sell canned turkey or not, but that you use in different recipes from the store. This is the same thing. I'm doing the grouse and I'm going to can it up. And then that way, if I want to make a quick batch of, say, like enchiladas, I usually grab canned grouse and I'll put that in there. And say like an Alfredo, I'll dump a jar of canned grouse in there. Anywhere you'd use canned chicken, I mean, you could even make like a sandwich spread out of canned grouse. It comes out really tender and tasty, so we will get to that next step. Okay, yesterday I told you I was putting all of these into the roaster, and by the time they got done, I had other things that I needed to get done in the evening, so we're going to finish up today. I just took the roaster and I put it in the refrigerator. So I've got my grouse here, and to start with, all right, the legs, there's not a whole lot of meat on them, but whatever I can grab off. Make sure there's no bones in here, and I'm also checking to make sure that there's no BBs in it. Like I had mentioned yesterday when I was cleaning it, I'm kind of like Inspector 57. So if there's something left in here, bones, BBs, it's my fault. If you really want to use up a lot of this, you could use these for bone broth. I'm not going to. All right, the breasts I just kind of pull off, and I'll bust these into smaller pieces to get them into the jars. You want to save all of your little wishbones if you like to do that. See how cute they are? Okay, I don't save them. Anyway, so I've got the carcasses here. I'm going to toss out into the trash then also. And I'm just going to keep taking all of the meat off of the birds, and then I will show you the next step as far as how I get these canned. I do have bouillon cubes that I had unwrapped already. You can use better than bouillon if you want and make a broth, or if you've got the powdered type of bouillon. I'm going to be packing these into pint-sized jars. That's all I use at a time for my husband and myself. If you have a larger family and you want to do quarts, that's fine. All right, I've got all my meat off the bones and everything, and I'm going to get ready to start stuffing my jars. Just a reminder, when we're pressure canning, we don't have to sterilize our jars because they're going to get sterilized while they're pressure canning. I'm just going to start filling my jars up with the meat. I kind of rip them apart so that they're not whole breasts or, you know, that type of thing. And then I'll get a mixture of white and dark meat in here at the same time. All right, you're going to pack it in there tight. And we're going to be leaving a 1-inch headspace like we always do with meat. I have my Tattler lids in the little pot scalding right now. I also have boiling water on the stove top ready to go because I'm using the bouillon cubes. One of the reasons I'm using bouillon cubes instead of actually making a broth in a stock pot is because I don't know exactly how much broth I'm going to need. That way, what I'm going to do once I get my jars filled with all the meat, I'm going to put 1 bouillon cube in each one of my pints, and then I'm going to pour the boiling water over it. This will also make a nice broth that you can use when you open this up if you want to make a gravy out of it. I'm going to keep stuffing the jars, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, I've got all the jars stuffed full of the grouse and everything, and now I'm going to start adding my bouillon cube. As I mentioned, if you want to use this, once you open it up to make gravy or whatever, it is going to be a little more condensed strong, so you're welcome to add more water to it. I don't think we're going to get a whole cup of water into these. All right, I'm adding my boiling water to my jars. Remember I said 1-inch headspace. And I am going to use my little chopstick as a debubbler to make sure we get all the air bubbles out. And I'll add more water in if necessary. Now when I smashed this down, I did have 1-inch headspace, and while I'm kind of moving things around, if the meat comes up a little bit, I'm just kind of pushing it back down into place. But you don't want those extra air bubbles in there because you could end up with possible failures. And this will be interesting because you know when I talk about using Tattler lids, especially with meats, anything greasy, to leave an additional 1/4-inch headspace so that you get a better success rate on sealing, on your jar sealing. Well, guess what I forgot to do? So I hope they seal because I'm only leaving a 1-inch headspace. I think I'll be good. All right, now I've got my white vinegar, paper towel, clean all my rims. Okay, so you're wondering, what am I going to do with this once it's canned? Well, I make quick and easy grouse enchiladas with it. I use it in additional soups. I make stroganoffs with it. I can use this like in place of chicken or turkey for a pot pie. Anywhere that you're going to use canned chicken, you can use it in. You can also drain this and make like a chicken salad out of it. Use it in pasta salads. A lot of different ways you can use it. If you don't know how to use Tattler lids, I'll leave a link above to, I show you how to properly use a Tattler lid. I'm not going through that regular process because right now I'm just kind of in a hurry and I know my fingertip tight and how to get them on. Okay, I'm gonna get these into the canner, turn up my temp so that I can get this venting for 10 minutes. After that, once I get up to pressure, our elevation is 10 pounds, and I'm going to process the pints for 75 minutes. So once I get them out of the canner, I'll show you that. I took all the bands off of the jars. They all sealed well, and I got them washed up and everything. Now I'm just gonna label them and I'll put them down into the pantry. So this is just another way that I do preserve my meats, no matter what kind it is. You can do the same thing with chicken or turkey, rabbit, that you can roast it ahead of time and then just can it in this way, putting a broth in. It's a really simple process, and it's super easy to be able to use this at any time. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, hit that notification bell, and give me a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below because I'd really like to hear from you. So until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.